We're going to welcome in co-host of First Things First of Fox Sports. It is Chris Broussard, NBA insider, who I think worked with Jay back at ESPN, knows G. Bush, and we are now honored to have on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. What's up, Chris?
What's up, everybody? Man, you talk about bringing back memories. I mean, first of all, you got Jay Crawford, who I was with for years at ESPN, and just being in Cleveland, on the Cleveland radio in general and TV, brings back memories of me covering the Cavs, working for the Beacon Journal, the Plain Dealer, all of that. So it's great to be on with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Chris, before we get into any basketball, how unbearable is Nick this week with the Chiefs back in the Super Bowl again?
Oh, gosh. It's tough. I mean, there probably isn't a more obnoxious co-host. I say that in love. That's my man. But still, I mean, he is in awe of his glory. And if they win Monday or Sunday, Monday is going to be a heck of a day for us. But
brutal.
Yeah, he hung with them when they looked mediocre for the whole second half of the season. So I'll give him credit for that. But it is tough to deal with and stomach.
Now, Chris had me on with Rob Parker, and right before the Browns played the Texans, and I was in my bag. I was talking my talk. I had Flacco for 500. Like I had Myles Garrett 6 sacks. It was a landslide, and he said, "My brother, I just want to tell you something." Yeah, y'all gonna lose this game, and he was right. I got to give it to you. We got smashed. They got all them awards, Chris. They didn't do nothing against the Texans.
Yep.
I got to take my licks.
Look, they had a great year. I'll give them credit. And it's funny, and I wonder where you guys are at on this, because we had Baker Mayfield on our show, First Things First, earlier this week. And I told him off the air, I said, man, look, I'm from Cleveland, and you would be looking good in the Browns uniform right now, because obviously they just need the quarterback. Flacco was great, but I think he kind of, he turned back into a pumpkin in that playoff game. But Deshaun this is the question, right? I'm sure this is what everybody in Cleveland is wondering. Can he be even like 90% of what he used to be? And if he can, then you guys might have something special, bro.
Well, Chris, we talk about that ad nauseum.
Look,
I want to hear what you have to say on
You
that.
should have seen Jay's face light up. He said Baker. He was like, what?
Baker. Yeah, Chris.
Oh.
Chris, I need to know what you think about that, because we waffle back and forth. Before the Ravens game, there were a lot of people in town that were like, this is what it is. He's never going to be Deshaun Houston. Then, after the second half of the Ravens game, the next day it was announced the season was over.
Right.
But after that half against Baltimore, everybody kind of looked around and said, okay, that's what that looks like. And he can be that guy. What do you say?
I agree that he showed signs, right? He showed spurts. And I think I heard you guys talking earlier about the play calling and who's going to handle it. I think this is, if they switch from Stefanski, it's all about trying to have an offense that's more, compatible with what Deshaun does well. I'd like to think, not that I'm a huge fan of Deshaun's, but he was a great quarterback, obviously, in Houston. Cleveland has virtually everything else they need. So I would love to see him become that guy again. And again, if he's just 95% of that, he can do it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt in that he's so young. There's no way he should be washed. And coming back from basically 2 years off, that doesn't happen overnight. So I would say, you put a gun to my head, I'll bet that he plays much better going forward. I wouldn't say Houston Deshaun, but close enough for the Browns to really be a factor in the AFC.
Right. We'll take it.
Chris, let's hop over to the NBA. First month or so of the season, we were having routine discussions about when JB Bickerstaff was going to get fired. We were hearing rumors that Donovan Mitchell didn't like him, the team wasn't playing well. Then two of their best players get hurt. Since then, now they're back, obviously. They've been the best team in basketball since then. They've won 16 of 17. And now we're having a conversation on today's show whether or not JB is the coach of the year. Is this unbelievable? Did you see this coming at all?
Well, Jay, I was stunned at how much they were struggling early. because obviously they had a good season last year. I think JB's a very good coach. And what I like about the Cavs is that they play defense, and that's still important in today's NBA. So they obviously have scores, but they also defend, and that separates them from some of these other teams, at near the top of the league. So I'm not surprised. I mean, like I said, my surprise was how much they struggled early. I think it was smart to stick with Bickerstaff, and obviously it's paying off now. And look, I do think when you look at the Eastern Conference, I feel like there is no excuse for Boston not to win the East. I mean, if they don't win the East this year, then I don't know when they're going to win it again, and they're going to have to really do some shuffling. But with Joel Embiid hurt, and I know he might come back, but I'm skeptical on that and how effective he'll be when he comes back. So I think with Philly kind of out of the way, Milwaukee obviously is having their issues. I think it's Boston, and then Milwaukee, and then Cleveland's in that next group with the Knicks, and you never can count out Miami. They're right there. But look, a break here or there, and you certainly can see the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals. And once you get to that round, that level, then, hey, you got a shot to get to the finals. So I wouldn't pick them as a favorite to win the East, but I do think they have a shot. And Donovan is playing. He's going to work. He's starting to work himself into the MVP conversation, especially with Embiid and some other guys getting hurt.
Brew, I got to get to this because, I talk to Jason Lloyd all the time, and I've been trying to start these rumors on my own. I need some guys to jump on the bandwagon. I'm looking at the LA Lakers right now. Lakers make no moves at the deadline. You take a look at LeBron, AD, they actually are playing games together. AD has been relatively healthy, and it's still not mattering. They got Reeves, they got those other guys, and my thing is, if you look at the Lakers, I just don't think that they're in contention anymore, especially for winning championships. But I will say this, I'm looking at LeBron and I'm saying, look, man, hey, we ain't got no problem drafting Bronny. We'll put him right at the Schottenstein Center over there. We ain't got no problem with that. And you got a house already here, and look at the roster. I mean, you ain't got to give up nobody. You got Allen, you got Mobley, young guys like Garland, and you possibly can keep Mitchell. You tell me that a landing spot, the cushy landing spot in the narrative, is back in Cleveland for LeBron. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm sure you've seen the reports. The Lakers, they want to bring Donovan to L.A., so I know that's probably a sore spot there in Cleveland. So I think
want a
that
pony
would
for
be
Christmas
their first.
too, Chris.
That would be their dream scenario, and I think for LeBron too, because obviously his life is set up in L.A. His young children, his younger son Bryce is in high school, and so I don't know that he really wants to uproot everything, but. The Cavs, obviously, there's always that draw. I think it's a long shot. I mean, to go back to some place 3 times, even though it is home. And I'll say this, because LeBron is playing well. The numbers, he's not playing as well as the numbers suggest. You guys, and myself as well, but you guys saw him at his best. LeBron James, people should not be fooled into thinking he's still in his prime because his numbers are essentially where his career numbers are at. Because LeBron James in his prime, there is no way he's not at the top of the league if Anthony Davis is his teammate. So LeBron is smart enough and skilled enough to score big points, and obviously he's a great passer. So he can put up numbers in today's NBA where it's easier to score, but he doesn't have the impact on the defensive end. He can't control the tempo of the game like he used to. Man. And yet, it still can be a tough adjustment. Like, if LeBron went to Cleveland, things change. You guys know, like, it's a tough adjustment to play with LeBron because not only is he still very good, but he does some of everything. And so now Donovan may have to switch his game a little bit, and Darius and some of the other players. And so I'm not saying I wouldn't do it if I could. If you can do it if you're Cleveland, sure. But I'm just saying it would take a little while for that adjustment to kick in. And if it works, they would certainly have a shot in the East. So I would go for it, but I do think it's unrealistic.
Chris, many days, many hundreds of days, I sat between you and Skip Bayless. And you just now sounded a whole lot like Skip Bayless with that LeBron diss. Have you been talking to Skip over
No, it wasn't a diss.
I didn't think it was a
He
diss.
said it wasn't a diss song, it was a real song.
Let me quote another friend of ours. That was blasphemous what you said about LeBron.
No, Jay, I actually look at it as a compliment because if LeBron is, and I assume you're talking about, I said he's not in his prime still, he's not as good as he used to be.
Blasphemous.
If LeBron is in his prime and they are the 9th seed in the West with Anthony Davis healthy, then that's an insult. That's an insult to LeBron. I think the only explanation for why they aren't a legit championship contender is that, yes, LeBron's numbers look good, but he doesn't dominate the game like he used to.
And that's fair.
And and defensively, you guys know this, he was a terror defensively when he was at his height. And that's what enabled him, in addition to the great offensive skills, to be so dominant. But now he's not on that end. And, he controlled the pace of the game, the tempo, everything. And he doesn't do that anymore. So, look, he's the best 39-year-old we've ever seen. And that includes, obviously, Michael Jordan and Kareem. But, no, if LeBron were still at the height or even really close to the height of his career, they would be a championship contender without question.
Well, that's true.
Chris, not just yesterday, the day of the deadline, but, if you want to include like the last week or two, whatever, who do you think helped themselves the most in acquisitions over the last couple of weeks? I
thought the Knicks, clearly. I don't even think it's close. Obviously, first they brought in OG Anunoby, who's, he's out now and he'll be out for a few more weeks with the elbow injury. But since they got him, just like the Cavs have been playing some of the best ball in the league, the Knicks have been right there as well. And then yesterday at the deadline, they get Bogdanovich and Alec Burks. Bogdanovich is a legit 20-point scorer, so he just gives them more depth, another option, another person the defense has to be concerned about, more shooting. So I think the Knicks I think all of those teams are on the same level. They're dangerous, and if you're a Boston or a Milwaukee, you don't want to face any of them early in the playoffs because you could get upset. So I think the Knicks definitely helped themselves. I thought Phoenix made some good moves, bringing in Royce O'Neal and David Roddy. So I think those guys will fit in with what they do. They just need bodies that are role players that don't need the ball in their hands to be effective in the game. So I thought Phoenix did a decent job as well, but the overall winner was the Knicks for sure.
All right, Brew, before we let you go, you got a big event coming up in Cleveland that I think Hoops fans are going to want to hear about. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I run an organization called the King Movement, and we're partnering with the Word Church over in Warrensville it's a men's summit, so anyone can come to that. There'll be discussions on men's health, speakers on, or mental health, I should say, mental health, spirituality, finances, fatherhood, things like that, really try to help men better themselves. But also there is a basketball tournament called the Midnight Rumble. And that will take place Saturday night, and the championship games will be Sunday afternoon. But there's a 3-on-3 tournament for men 35 and over. And the prize money should attract anybody that still plays. The prize money for that is $3,000.
Oh.
And then there is a 5-on-5 tournament for people under 35, like 15, 16 years old, up to 35. And that prize money is $5,000. So the registration, you can go to kingsummit.org and register. And there's more information on there. People you can email if you have questions about it. But yeah, the Midnight Rumble, it'll be at the Word Church, which you guys may know has, NBA type, regulation courts. A lot of the pros play there in the off season. And so it's going to be a great time. And hopefully we draw all the hoopers out from Cleveland and beyond and see who can take home that big prize money.
Mikey
And that's
McNuggets,
March 16th and 17th.
Mikey McNuggets, are you playing in this 5-on-5 tournament?
I actually was asked to play. I got to see if I can make it.
Our producer Mike.
Oh wow.
He played Division III hoops. So
Where at?
Emerson College in Boston.
Okay. Oh yeah. Somebody I think
Preston.
is Presti's from there. Yeah.
And
There's a couple
Hennigan
of
in
great.
from
Orlando.
Emerson.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
And Rob Hennigan. Yep, Rob Hennigan.
Shout out to Pastor.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Pipeline.
Pastor Vernon. Pastor Vernon is doing a lot of good things in the community, especially when it
Yep.
comes to young black men. Shout out to Josh Cribbs. He's been helping, and he's been over there doing some things, with Pastor Vernon too. So that looks like it's gonna be an event. Who's gonna get that money? I like
Yeah,
that.
let's go. I think Mike should get in on that. He's a sniper. He's a big shooter. Hey, Chris, did you go to Rob Parker's 60th birthday?
Yes, I did. I
Please
did.
Tell,
And
please
it was
tell
as
him I'm
crazy
sorry
as
I
you
had to
might.
miss it.
I will. I'll tell him on the show tonight.
All right.
It was as crazy as you might expect. Rob did a stand-up that wasn't funny, but because it wasn't funny, it actually ended up being funny.
Yeah,
So,
Rob,
yeah.
Rob is a frustrated wannabe stand-up comedian. CB, great
Right.
talking to you. I would call you Skip
All right,
Broussard,
guys.
but I don't want to do that to you.
No, please don't. Please don't,
there you
Jay.
go.
Great
All right.
talking with you guys. Thanks
Thanks,
for having
Chris.
me on.
Always
All
good.